Welcome back to Integrative Approaches to Mastering Wellness. I'm your host, Tanikella, physician and life coach, and this is episode number 6. In our last episode, we talked a little bit about goals and goal setting. Today, I wanted to talk about some of the evolutionary barriers that we face in terms of being able to up-level ourselves. So in between our thoughts and our actions, we have emotions, and these emotions are often responsible for whether we proceed with doing something or not. As an example, if I was scared to do a particular task, then the likelihood that I'm going to actually do that task is lesser. Now, if I muster up some bravery or curiosity or ambition or had some other motivation, then I might be able to push myself to overcome that uncomfortable emotion and keep going. So how do we keep ourselves moving forward? How do we prevent ourselves from being paralyzed by our emotions? Well, first we have to take a step back. Those emotions spring up in an effort to protect ourselves. It is actually normal and okay to feel scared sometimes. And in fact, that might be necessary for our survival. Think of it this way. We are actually primed to look for danger. The human brain has what's called a primitive brain. That primitive part of our brain is responsible for ensuring our safety, and it does that by scanning our environments for any perceived threats. Now, if we do see something that's wrong or something that we perceive to be threatening, we instinctually go into one of 4 modes, either fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Now, the fight response is pretty obvious, right? We brace ourselves and we get ready to go into combat with this perceived threat. In the flight response, we run in the other direction. In the freeze response, we're literally unable to move or act against a potential threat. It's quite literally like playing dead. So if a predator thinks that we're dead, they're less likely to want to engage. They're less likely to have any interest in it. Now, in the fawn response, we behave in a way that we believe will be pleasing to the person or object that we're perceiving to be more powerful than us. It's kind of like the idea of, well, if you can't beat them, join them, right? It's better to be friends with the school bully than to be bullied by the school bully. That sort of mentality. So if we only used our primitive brains to make decisions, we would be acting a lot like lizards. And in fact, this primitive brain is also called our reptilian brain. Now, as humans evolved, we developed what's called the prefrontal cortex. This area of our brain is responsible for what's called an executive function. Now, executive function includes the ability to plan for the future. It helps us to understand cause and effect. It helps us to understand consequences and allows for us to be able to reason with ourselves and with others. It also gives us self-control and discipline. Now, this piece is important. Our prefrontal cortex can override our primitive brain. Now, this is huge because that means that we don't have to be slaves to our primitive brain. When we find ourselves scanning for everything that is wrong with the situation in front of us, we can literally hit the pause button, give ourselves some love, thank ourselves like, hey, I have done a really good job ensuring my safety. And then we can flip the thought process on itself and ask ourselves, well, what are the things that are right with this situation? How is the situation potentially serving me? And when we're able to look at the situation a little bit more objectively, we're able to create a plan that actually works for us instead of being reactive to it. So this is the difference between responding and reacting. Now, similarly, we are our own harshest critics. When we look at ourselves, we're more apt to instinctually look for everything that's wrong with us before we look for the things that are right with us. And when you're finding yourself engaging in that sort of thought loop, once again, you can hit that pause button and say, hey, actually, there are some great things that I have within me, some great qualities. I am deserving. I am worthy. You are worthy. You deserve everything that this world has to offer. And it's up to you to reach out and take it. So at this point, I'd like to take a moment and give you some exciting updates. Integrative Approaches to Mastering Wellness is currently offering general coaching, and this focuses on self-concept, quieting that inner critic, overcoming perfectionism, and managing some of the emotions so that we can more easily find peace within difficult situations. We also have one-on-one coaching available for medical professionals and trainees. This covers some of the concepts that we talk about in general coaching, but puts it in the context of your career. So if this is something that you're interested in, you can absolutely inquire. And if you're looking to obtain continuing education credits or continuing medical education credits, CME credits, we can make arrangements for that. I'm also excited to announce that we have a coaching program available for children and teens ages 5 and up. In this program, we focus on building confidence and resilience. We also teach mind-body skills to help with stress reduction. For more information, you can hop onto my website at imwellmd.com. Thank you and have a beautiful day. Until next time, be well.